sometimes you got to become your own boss. And I know this is not the Sexual Intellectual podcast, but on the Sexual Intellectual podcast, I covered when Don Lemon was fired from CNN.
I covered
And,
it partly also. Yeah.
and I said I wouldn't be surprised if Don Lemon went and started doing his own thing. And you guessed it, Don Lemon has announced the Don Lemon Show is coming.
It's coming. He said, let me try to get this right. I know I'm going to mess it
Get
up.
it right, girl. Get it right.
I know I'm going to mess it up because I'm not looking at it, but he said something to the effect of, people need to have real journalism and people need to have an authentic voice.
Mm.
And so that is what he is planning on bringing to the table, and I am here for it. Okay? I know Don Lemon can be problematic at times. I understand. There's a lot of problematic people. The woman behind me that you can't see is Erykah Badu. She's problematic. One of my favorite people. So you're problematic too. I think we're all a little problematic every now and again, right? Some more than others, though.
Nigga said guilty.
Right. Hello, it's me. Hi.
Guilty as charged. It's me.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
me. I'm the problem.
Right. But I think sometimes that there is room for there's not room for disrespect or bigotry or discrimination or we know the things that we shouldn't be making space for, right?
Right.
I don't really think that I think Don Lemon had some missteps.
Sure.
That included disrespect, if we're being honest.
Okay.
And that's why I say, a little problematic. But what I do think is that he is a voice that has value. So I'm curious to see. I don't know that this will be something that I tune into. I don't know the frequency of it yet. I don't think we have all those details yet. But let's say it's a nightly show or a daily show or something like that. I don't know that I would tune into it every day. But I do think that Don Lemon's voice has value, and I enjoyed watching Don Lemon when I watched CNN a lot during the last presidential election. So I would, get off work.
You mean the Clinton News Network?
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
But at some point, I don't remember what time it used to come on, but I would turn on the TV and I would watch Don Lemon for an hour. And I was getting a lot of information from there. And I like Don Lemon. I do. He's also very fun on New Year's Eve, but they don't let him do that anymore.
Wow.
Because he does like to drink.
Too many lemon drops.
Listen, okay? But actually, I saw Don Lemon one day on the street. I did. Randomly, I don't remember where I was walking, and I was like, I think I know that man. And it was Don Lemon. I didn't say anything because he's,
You ain't give him one of these?
I tried to do that, but he was like, it was a Saturday morning, and it looked like he probably just like left the house to go get coffee or something, and it was like in his shorts and his t-shirt, and he looked very relaxed and very much like he was on his weekend and no one needed to bother him. He didn't look like he didn't want to be bothered, but I just feel like when you see people like that, don't bother them.
Leave them alone.
They're in their normal, they're in their natural habitat. And I feel like you draw attention to them and you take them out of their natural habitat. And then you try to imagine somebody doing that to you, and doesn't seem like a nice thing. So I try to be mindful of that. I did try to get TJ Holmes' attention one day on the train, and he refused to look at me. I know he saw me looking, but he refused to look at me, and in fact changed train cars.
He was giving off creep vibes.
He probably looked at me and said, "Oh, that's no Amy Robach over there."
Exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah, listen, back to the topic.
back to the topic.
Um, I'm not surprised that Don Lemon need some tea with honey. I need some lemon.
Um,
Listen, I think it's very clear that Don Lemon brings value to networks. He would not have been one of the head people uh, on the nightly stuff going on at CNN
mhm,
for so long. Um, it's clear that Don Lemon knows his capabilities.
mhm.
And I think he had to really sit back and say, okay, what's my next move? Which is what I said on my solo pod when it happened, right?
Right.
This network let him go. And so now we're going to see what Don Lemon does on his own. I'm excited to see what he does on his own, what type of energy he brings. You know, sometimes when you get fired
Yeah.
or let go, you got a little bit of a chip on that shoulder now.
Right.
You know, a little bit of chip. You might have a little Pringles, you know,
Or
might
maybe a
have a
little
little
more confidence.
Doritos. Right.
Or
And
maybe a
that
little
too,
more
right?
confidence, you know? Maybe this will be a moment for him to rise above like a
I think
phoenix
so.
out of the ashes.
Out of the ashes, right? Yeah. And
Hmm.
so I'm very curious to see what Don Lemon will do with this new show. Will it
Yeah.
strictly be news based? Will it be by himself? Will he have co hosts? How this is going to go. I'm also curious about some of the behind the scenes details. Maybe we'll get more of that
Hmm.
uh, as things roll out. You know, maybe this will be something that CNN does pick up, or have one of their rivals picked up this show? Is this an independent production? I got a lot of questions. I'm curious
Yeah.
to see where all of it goes and how all of it will be presented to us. You know, this might be a YouTube only show. Maybe he got a deal. You know, there's another guy out there, I won't say his name, but he got a deal with Twitter/X, and that's where his show premieres every time. So
I'm thinking it's going to be it's going to be digital. I'm thinking it's not going to be on a network. That's just a
maybe
guess.
not.
I don't have any knowledge or reason to. He didn't say anything that made, but I'm thinking that's what it is.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
that's my assumption as well. But I'm curious to still see how it's packaged, how it's delivered, and you know, this is a pivotal moment for Don Lemon. If
Mhm.
he wants to stay independent, this could be his time to shine. But also, on the flip side of that coin, if Don Lemon decides he wants to get back on a major network, all he got to do is come through, you know, put up numbers,
Get a
and then
Cat
go.
Williams on his show.
There you go. And after you
Oh,
break
that's
the
gonna
internet
bring
a
things.
time or two,
Right.
they be. Excuse me. Can I speak to Don Lemon? Yes, we'd like to discuss an offer for your current show and any other shows you might have in the works.